Tragazzi, where the SHA thought find death and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest, osteopath using hands-on and regenerative therapies to keep active bodies in motion. One of his advocacy, no other than Mr. Michael Betler.
Hi, Daniel. Nice to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome once again, Mr. Michael, on one of my podcasts. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Yes, so Michael Betler, I'm an osteopath, trained or did my medical school in 2003 to 2007. I have a background in both general surgery and I'm also double boarded in lifestyle medicine as well, with a master's in biomedical ethics. My focus with my clinic has become more of a prevention style, keeping people in motion that want to stay in motion and helping people get active that want to get active again.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Carl. Oh, Mr. Michael, thank you. So today let's talk about osteopathic principles. So beyond the famous body as unit principle, which one of the four tenets of osteopathy do you believe is the most misunderstood by the public or even by the other healthcare providers, and why?
Yeah, I think at the base, osteopathic medicine was discovered and used as something where the body is found to have the ability to heal itself, and I think is it's very well known in general that the body has its own healing mechanisms, but being able to optimize those mechanisms through realignment, hands-on therapies, and discovering new therapies like technologies that promote regenerative medicine to use those principles of balance and prevention.
To balance and prevention. And so, Mr. Michael, osteopathy emphasizes the body's innate ability to heal itself. In a medical culture, often focus on intervention. How does an osteopath know when to facilitate healing versus one when directed?
Yeah, so I think anybody can utilize it at any time. I mean, I do prevention where people like Michael Jordan and Tom Brady would get realignment every week to be able to stay at the top of their game, be aligned, have balance of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. And we get people from all walks of the spectrum. We treat headaches, migraines, we treat sinus problems, we treat gastrointestinal issues, and then the obvious musculoskeletal issues. So back pain is one of the most common things, but I've extended to the things that osteopathy can't necessarily treat, like broken bones, chronic pain that hasn't gotten better with realignment and physical therapy, to add in things like shockwave magnet therapy that basically induce your body's own growth factors to get past those pain points and realign its natural tissue structure.
Mr. Michael, the principle of structure governs function is central. Can you share a patient story where a seemingly minor structural finding led to a major shift in their overall health or function?
Yeah, so one of the things I have the most success with is sciatica, to be honest. So a lot of people will try injections. Some people will even resort to surgery because they feel like they're in such bad pain that nothing else has worked. But really, the spine is a whole system. It has a base. At its base is the pelvis and the sacrum. So if you can balance and make that straight, the rest of the spine will line up. You'll have less inflammation from the nerves that are coming out. In the sciatic nerve, for instance, that comes out at the base of the spine that goes through muscles. You can get everything relaxed and realigned so that you have good flow of the nerves through there and you calm down the angry nerve that's causing the pain that shoots down the back of the leg. So I've had plenty of people who have had physical therapy for years and have dealt with the pain that have come in, and even as little as one treatment have had success with sciatica being resolved.
Mr. Michael, how do you reconcile the holistic patient centered osteopathic approach with the time of constraints and specialization common in a modern healthcare systems?
I think specialization is very important, but I think everything has its role. I think it's at this stage of society where we really are focusing on wellness, proper diet, and things like that, and people not wanting to necessarily put joints in their body if they don't necessarily need them. Trying to start with something non-surgical is okay, and I think there are many modalities that are non-surgical. There's physical therapy, chiropractic, osteopathic, obviously. Massage, so many things. And finding the right balance of things can be key to preventing yourself from getting surgery or helping your body heal so that you don't necessarily need it. And in each one of those specialties have their role. But sometimes, if somebody doesn't know about the options, they may be overused, or they may be, for instance, with back surgery is not 100%. So I tell everybody to get at least two opinions from different surgeons in different groups so that they know that what they're hearing the first time is accurate and is what they should do. And if somebody feels like that's not what they want to do, just keep looking. You can find people like us so that we can try things maybe a little bit less invasive before you jump into the invasive nature of some of these specialties. But if anybody tells you the treatment is 100%, don't believe them. I have patients that I haven't been successful with, so there are definitely times where I still say, um, my social media manager, for instance, she had a very large herniated disc and was unable to walk when she came in without a cane at 22 years old. So we were able to get her back to walking and moving, swimming, and doing a little bit of activity. But ultimately, I was unable to get her to 100%, and she kept having setbacks after the treatment. So she did end up going in for a micro discectomy, where she had very good success with that and was able to do the physical therapy and everything a little bit more consistently with more lasting results. So she still gets some of the treatments that we had done before, but she has much more longer lasting effects from that.
The osteopathic philosophy views the mind, body, and spirit as inseparable. In practical terms, how do you assess the spirit or emotional, energetic component of a patient during a physical exam, Mr. Michael?
Yeah, so stress stress is a big driver of disease. Unfortunately, heart attacks, gastric ulcers. There are a lot of things that stress can cause to the body, and then stress can increase inflammatory markers that can lead to poor healing. So that is a big component. And realignment without talking about these things is not going to be 100% of what needs to be done. So within my treatments, I try to talk to people about other things, let them bring up issues if they want to talk to through them and get them off their chest. I try to be a listener as well as a treater so that they can get some of those heavy loads off of them if they have anything that's holding them down or causing them that stress.
We often hear about treating the whole person. What
Mhm.
does your initial patient intake look like to uncover the layers beyond the chief complaint?
Yeah, so we have a relatively extensive intake form that goes over as much as you can, and then when patients come in, we do our best to give them time. I think one of the biggest complaints with medicine now is that doctors don't listen, and you do see that unfortunately in primary care, where a lot of these hospital systems are pushing you to see patients in 30 minutes, pushing some of these doctors to see 60 to 70 patients a day, which is unreasonable. You can't treat people, you can't analyze everything, you can't let them talk to you and hear their stories. So at our clinic, we do things in order to try to allow people to give us their stories and listen to every aspect of whatever they need to the best of our ability. Nobody's going to tell us everything, I don't think, and use both our services and refer out when necessary. So we work with massage therapists, physical therapists. I have a partner in the community that does stem cells and PRP. I do send people to an orthopedic practice where my wife works. So if things are needed, we send out. But we try to give people that time that they may not feel that they've had with anybody else so that they can give us the whole story and we can understand kind of exactly what's going on, things that they might be doing in daily life that may be causing some of these dysfunctions or these pain points. How many stairs does somebody have in their house? Are they able to walk up and down the stairs? Do they have a bedroom on the first floor? Sometimes it's little things that when you realize, and it may not be on the first conversation, it may be 3 to 4 times down the road. And after you do various treatments, sometimes I realize after the third or fourth treatment, oh, this is working better than some of the other things I've done. So it's about adjustment, it's about listening, and a big thing that doctors unfortunately don't do as much is allow patients to tell their story.
Mr. Michael, can you describe a case where addressing somatic dysfunction appeared to directly influence an internal organ problem or patient emotional state?
Yeah, so I mean, migraines are a huge one as far as emotional state because migraines can be very devastating. Patients need to turn the lights off. They may not be able to go to school. They can cause nausea and vomiting. They need medication to decrease the severity that sometimes doesn't work 100%. So we do craniosacral therapy, neck and upper back a lot of times for migraines. We make sure we focus on the sinuses as well because some people will treat migraines, but there may be a sinus component, chronic sinusitis component as well that causes issues. And you see that. So the nerves that innervate the face and the head are at the first through fifth thoracic vertebra. So if you can calm everything down, get everything relaxed, then those nerves will be less overactive to stimulate the sinuses, for instance, to put out so much mucus to cause inflammation. Another one is stomach ulcers. So, stomach ulcers, we were very impressed when in our first osteopathic class, our professors were able to diagnose stomach ulcers without asking any history from the patients. Um, the sixth and seventh thoracic vertebra on the left side will be a little bit inflamed and pushed backwards if patients have stomach ulcers or any irritation of their stomach. And you can actually, which is called a viscerosomatic reflex. So you can actually get those to calm down by getting those tissues in the right spot, calming down the muscle spasm. And there's other points that correlate on the front as well that you can get some of the irritation and the ulcers and the acid to go down if you do these consistently.
What is the most significant barrier preventing a wider integration of osteopathic principles into the mainstream medicine today?
Yeah, so this is the big question for our practice and trying to get out there. So it's visibility easily, visibility and knowledge. So one of the biggest things, or the biggest things we're doing is we've created a podcast to try and talk to people about the athletic mindset and philosophy, how injuries can be treated, how injuries can be prevented. I go out to the community, try to do strategic partnerships, have booths at some of the conferences, and talk to people about what we do. We're doing Google ads now for certain things so that more people can see us. The more positive Google reviews we have, the more likely it is for our practice to come up. And then they say megaphones out in the community. So I have probably 5 to 6 patients who are very talkative, very social, very well connected, that are out there telling two friends. And it's the whole old Wayne's World thing that he told two friends and he told two friends and he told two friends. And it builds. It's been a slow word of mouth. But we're getting out to more and more people every day. And that's my goal, is that everybody in the area hopefully has some inkling that there's a practice out there that may be able to do something that is not typical, and not just medication and not just disease oriented.
Critics sometimes dismiss osteopathic manipulative treatments as just a physical therapy or placebo. How do you or how does the research respond to this critic?
Yeah, so there's plenty of research on osteopathic medicine. There's the Journal of the American Osteopathic Association. There's a student journal that puts a bunch of their research in. It's not all about osteopathic treatments. It's about holistic care, sometimes just stress during residency and things like that. So there's a lot of research that backs up what we do, measures sometimes even the blood work that shows that there's elevated inflammatory markers that go down with some of our treatments. Um, and I'm okay having critics. Not everybody's going to like what we do. Not everybody's going to believe in what we do. Similar to chiropractic medicine, right? I mean, not everybody believes in it, but it does work if it's applied appropriately. And there's a component, I think, in each of these that the patient has to believe in the therapy and believe that it will work. If they come in not believing that it's going to work, or not taking some advice that they change some small things within their everyday life, it may not work for them. And like I said, nothing is 100%. So you're going to get people that you're going to try to treat that it's not successful for. And unfortunately, those people will be out there saying it doesn't work. Not, it didn't work for me. So it's a perspective of somebody that may spread bad information that I wish wasn't out there, but I just tell people to try it. I see if it works. I mean, I've made believers out of a lot of people by doing what I do, and having people like my brother-in-law, for instance, who are not believers, has come in and I've treated him, and he got better. So I mean, it just those small things, and sometimes you'll treat people, they get better and they still don't believe it, but it's okay to have that, as long as you are out there doing good work. You have people that believe in you. You have people that come to you. Um, it's just the nature of the world, right? That some people are going to believe in you and some people aren't.
Let's talk about an specific application in the future, Mr. Matthew. How do osteopathic principles uniquely inform your approach to treating chronic pain, and which often has structural, neurological, and emotional components?
Yeah, so the structural is what we do. The neurological is a balance thing. So structural, we have people come in and we each have our protocols. Myself and my partner that we go through, and for me, it's a base up approach. So I start at the pelvis, the hips, and kind of go up as far as the spine. If there are any muscle spasms, I make sure to spend a lot of time on those areas. And initially, a lot of things will recur, especially with chronic pain, because with chronic pain, what happens is you favor one side. So chronic pain becomes more widespread. Like somebody that has left knee pain is going to start to have right ankle pain after a while because they're favoring the other side, and that side might be weaker, or it might be overused. So it's finding the balance, making sure that people do the training that's needed to heal those areas as well. Like I can't bring someone with chronic pain in and treat them and they magically get better. Like they have to put some effort into core and posture training, being for me the biggest things that people don't have in everyday life. Core and posture to the biggest things, looking down at our phones, neck, upper back, things all the time, bending over our computers, standing, walking, movement is so important. And if you don't have a good core and good posture, you're going to have recurrent issues. So that's one of the things I'll send people to physical therapy for in conjunction when I have chronic pain patients, so that they can work on that with a physical therapist, so that they can learn how to get better with themselves, ideally under an insurance-based treatment. And then there are other people who I can send to a personal trainer and tell them to work on that stuff. And personal trainers will work on that as well if they're maybe a little bit stronger, a little bit more active, and don't want to listen to a physical therapist, or have the money that they want something a little bit more targeted.
Mr. Michael, fascia has become a buzzword in wellness. From osteopathic perspective, what is the significance of the fascial system, and we're overstating or understanding its role?
Yeah, so fascial system is basically what holds everything together. It's the netting that is over the muscles, over the bones, over everything. Fibromyalgia is a fascial issue, and you can have trigger points at all of these places too. So, getting the fascia relaxed, we have a stretch and myofascial therapist at our clinic that helps with these kind of things. She's trained in that, so she has appointments available on Wednesdays and Saturdays to take people through a program that they will probably need chronically. And then with chronic treatments, those things do calm down a little bit. So fascia mobility, I personally really like yoga and everything, because yoga helps to decrease inflammatory markers. It helps to stretch the tissue. It helps with strengthening, leaning out the muscles. So again, everything in conjunction a little bit. But when I get fascial issues, the stretching my fascial is huge, the realignment's huge, and yoga or some stretch program. And stretch is another thing that's out there that everybody should be doing, but almost nobody probably does. So as people age, you see they can't squat as well. They can't go upstairs as easily. Their hips and their mobility are slower. So keeping these things mobile as you age is extremely important. And if you look at the centenarians in Okinawa, for instance, they're sitting down and standing up hundreds of times a day. So they keep those systems active and they keep those systems loose so that they don't have issues in the fascial tissues.
Looking 50 years ahead, what is your hopeful vision for the role of osteopathic medicine in the global healthcare landscape?
Yeah, so I think globally the surprising thing is in Europe, Australia, and South America, osteopathic medicine is actually relatively well known. And I've had people from France, from Brazil, from Australia come and find us in Russia that know what it is and have sought me out. It's not as well known in America because we have such a disease driven healthcare system. So my hope in getting this out there really is that overall, continue with the visibility campaign, continue spreading the message, and this is something that over the last probably 10 to 15 years has been done by a lot of people for osteopathic medicine. But not just that DOs are doctors too and can do the surgery, can do the cardiology, but that we have this other skill that can help to balance your system in conjunction with all those other treatments that will keep you active, have you injured less, and if you are injured, help to speed those things and keep your system in balance.
Mr. Michael, if you had to summarize the gift of osteopathic medicine to world in one sentence, what would it be?
Uh, it can be magic, really. I have plenty of people who come in and they're getting back injections with a pain therapist and things like that, and then I treat them and they, they're very loyal after you do things like that. So it's something that I encourage everybody to try out and see if it helps. And I myself have had increased VO2 max, for instance, is another research thing. In my runs, I after realignment can run better, run faster, take deeper breaths. Um, I've had a friend when I was in med school that came over to my little brother's wedding from Germany. Uh, very bad, couldn't walk, couldn't move. I did a treatment on him. He was dancing outside of the Hard Rock Cafe that night. So I've seen some pretty crazy things happen with just little changes.
Mr. Michael, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review coming sixth season this year, comedy 101 third season, and food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101 love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 fourth season, Science 101, Sex 101, and third season, and my baby podcast, Mental Health 101, Law 101, Bible Verses 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and the newest Motivation 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Michael, for someone hearing about osteopathic principles for the first time today, what is the one key takeaway you hope they live with?
Yeah, so try it out. Findado.org. Filter out for osteopathic manipulative medicine. If you're in the Connecticut area, definitely come and see us. Look us up at ctsportsrecovery.com. We'd love to treat you. We'd love to have the opportunity to try our services to help you out.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Michael Betler because if you support him, for sure more and more empowering osteopathic will rise. So, Mr. Michael, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge. And can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, so we have a podcast called Mind Body Playbook that's up on Apple Podcasts right now that we're trying to get out some of the mindset and injury prevention strategies. Come see us at ctsportsrecovery.com, where we do hands-on regenerative therapy, shockwave magnet, and also consider getting a consultation for peptide therapy as well.
Yes, again, people, let's support Mr. Michael Butler. So, Mr. Michael, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. I had a great time.
Mordecai people, see you soon.